So SSSniperWolf, a person that we haven't spoke about on this channel for quite some time, and that's for good reason. You see, the majority of you watching this video won't be aware of this because it did happen like very early in my YouTube career, if you want to call it that, but SniperWolf herself actually nearly got my channel terminated once upon a time. This is back in like 2017, maybe 2016. I generally had maybe like 10,000 subscribers, so that's what I'm saying, like not many of you will even know who I was at that point. But at that time, I'd made a few videos critiquing SniperWolf, and she actually decided to strike 2 of my videos, and I already had a strike on my channel at the time, so at that point my channel was actually terminated because I had 3 strikes. Now luckily they got overturned by YouTube, so nothing actually happened in the end, but as you can imagine, quite scared of this woman. And as we've seen by her most recent actions, there's a very good reason to be scared of SniperWolf, because the way she responds to criticism is like no one else. Now in case you haven't heard anything to do with this situation, let me give some context. So there's a YouTuber called SSSniperWolf. She has 34.2 million subscribers, one of the biggest creators on the platform. And not only is she massive on YouTube, YouTube love her. Like the actual official YouTube Twitter account tweet about her all the time, comment on all of her videos. They really do use SniperWolf as kind of like one of the faces of YouTube. Now because of this praise, you would probably assume that SniperWolf makes some absolutely groundbreaking content, but by the tone of my voice you can also probably assume that's not true. This is SniperWolf's channel. As you can probably tell, she is a reaction channel, and she generally sits there and just reacts to TikToks. And don't get me wrong, that could be done quite well. You know, if you react to a few TikToks, give your own commentary, add something to the video, that could actually be some, like, interesting content to watch. But that is definitely not what SniperWolf does, and in fact, SniperWolf is kind of notorious for just playing TikToks in her videos, and honestly just saying maybe like 5 words in a full video. Now, I am exaggerating a little bit there, but genuinely, she will sit there, watch a few TikToks, and every now and then say something along the lines of, "Oh my god, that's so crazy." In fact, there's been a bunch of conspiracies that SniperWolf doesn't even watch these TikToks when she's recording these videos. She genuinely just records and reads like a script of like certain reactions she should be saying whilst pretending to watch.
There's multiple instances in which you can see the reflection of her monitors in her fucking glasses, and it's just white. You see her microphone, and you see just a white screen. I don't see this video with the quirky trampoline white boy jumping off it and hurting himself. I see a fucking Google Doc.
Now, I don't know if that's true, because I would like to think that no one is lazy enough to do that in the first place, like generally pay someone to write out a script of like general reactions you could have to a video and then just read the script. Like, you may as well just watch the videos at that point. But I would also like to think that that is true, because it's kind of funny in my head that someone was genuinely too lazy to just watch videos and give genuine reactions, that they just decided to read a script instead. Like, that just sounds a bit fucking insane to me. Like, in my videos, I react to stuff all the time, right? But I would like to think I add quite a bit to the video, and I don't just sit there being like, "Oh my god, that's crazy," and I do actually give like genuine opinions. I don't just sit there and watch fucking TikToks and with like a blank expression. But even though I do like to think that I add to the content in my videos, it is still easy, right? It's not the hardest job in the world, especially physically. Like, I am just sat here giving my opinions on topics. The research part of it's definitely the part that takes the longest. The actual recording is genuinely like the easiest part, really. And if we're being honest here, SniperWolf doesn't do the research herself, and by research I mean just like finding the funny clips. So all she generally does is sits there and reacts to clips. So if she's too lazy to do that part and just reads a doc, I don't get it. But if you do want some more evidence of SniperWolf being a bit lazy, sometimes in her videos, if they aren't long enough, she will just reuse the same clip twice within like a 30-second period, and I guess just hopes no one notices. Okay, so we got this clip of SniperWolf reacting to someone falling for a hoop.
He jumped on like a little trampoline thing. I was like, there's no way. Bro, just
there's that no way I was on about.
Hoop. Dunked himself too. Does that count for extra points? I mean, technically you got 3 balls through there. Should be triple the points, right?
Yeah, it's also probably worth noting here that a lot of people have noticed that SniperWolf gets like all of her jokes from like the TikTok comments on them specific videos. So it wouldn't surprise me if someone commented that joke there about the whole like 3 balls going through the hoop. It really wouldn't surprise me. But anyways, as I was saying, 30 seconds later, after reacting to that clip we just seen, this happens.
I know a good chicken when I see one.
Oh, it's the exact same clip.
I don't know how people jump this high.
The exact same reaction and everything.
Trampoline thing.
Genuinely like 30 seconds apart, and that was just because the video wasn't 8 minutes long. And I get it, right? There's a lot of benefits to making a video 8 minutes because you do make a lot more money on it. But add something new. Like, you can stretch the video out just by adding an extra clip in there. How lazy do you have to be to use the exact same clip twice? In fact, sometimes when the video isn't long enough, SniperWolf will just take a random TikTok and put it in the middle of the video where she's not even reacting to it. Right, so here she is on the screen. And then all of a sudden, it's just sort of a random TikTok.
Jump off. Jump off. What do you have to live for, huh? What do you have to live for?
So these kids are standing.
And then goes back to like the normal video. She was actually too lazy to sit down for genuinely, maybe what, 20 seconds to react to another clip to put in her video. It's mental. And look, a lot of people on YouTube do similar content to this, but SSSniperWolf is the biggest. She has 34 million subscribers. As we can see by Social Blade, she's got 180 million views in the last month just doing this content. And by the way, if you don't really understand like how the monetization thing works on YouTube, she's making a lot, let's just put it that way. It's hard to estimate the exact amount because it all depends on your personal CPM. I believe SSSniperWolf's CPM will be ridiculous because YouTube generally love her. She's making over $1 million a month in my opinion, and I think it's actually probably quite a lot more than that. Now, one person who's been very vocal about the fact that they don't like SSSniperWolf's content recently is Jax Films. He is a YouTuber with just under 5 million subscribers, also a very big channel, obviously quite a bit smaller than SSSniperWolf, but I mean, Jax Films has a lot more like respect on the platform. He's kind of like an OG, he's been around here for a long time. And I mean, as we can see by his most recent video, it says, SSSniperWolf came to our home last night. It's time for YouTube to step in, and we will get to that. But before we get to that, we do need to add a little bit more context because Jax Films has made a few videos kind of critiquing SSSniperWolf the same way that a lot of people have in the past. A few of his big critiques was that SSSniperWolf's content is lazy, she just uses other people's content, doesn't give credit to anyone else, and yeah, just basically the same critiques that a lot of people have, like I said. So Jax Films decided to make a second channel called Jax Films, you know, a parody to SSSniperWolf, in which he just reacts to SSSniperWolf's content, but then throughout it gives like credit to the people that she hasn't give credit to, and then also critiques her content. And of course, with Jax Films doing this, SSSniperWolf was not happy by any means, but instead of reacting like a normal person and maybe messaging the person who's critiquing you to speak to them and try and work things out, or maybe she could even make a video in response herself and explain why she thinks Jax Films is wrong for doing this, she did the unthinkable. She actually decided to go to her Instagram, which has millions and millions of followers, and then post this, saying, should I go visit Jax Films? He lives 5 minutes away from my shoot, and puts a poll saying yes or no. Now already, this is mental in itself, right? The fact that she was even contemplating just going up to Jax Films' house and trying to like confront him in person when he's not aware of her showing up, like, it's crazy. There's only a very few circumstances that you should just show up to someone's house uninvited, right? And that's if something very serious has happened. You know, like if they've kidnapped your dog or something, right? In that case, yeah, show up to the house by all means. But because someone critiqued you on YouTube, yeah, that definitely does not give you the right to just show up to someone's house. And by the way, I'm not saying that maybe Jax Films took it a little far by making a full channel and like reacting to her content daily. Maybe that was a bit far, don't really think that's for me to judge. It wasn't really harsh, I've watched the videos, the critiques aren't harsh, he's just having a bit of fun with it. He's doing a parody because SSSniperWolf also just reacts to people's content, so he's done the same. But either way, even if you think he went too far with that, I would like to imagine that we can all agree that showing up to the bloke's house uninvited is mental. But unfortunately, SSSniperWolf doesn't just leave it as a poll on Instagram and then realise that what she was saying was crazy. She actually shows up to the bloke's house. Now, the person who took the screenshot of this and put on Twitter has already tried censoring it a bit, but I'm going to blur it even more so you can't see any details. But all you need to be aware of is that SSSniperWolf decided to post to her millions of followers a video of Jax Films' house directly outside his fucking house. She just doxed him in front of millions of people. So she didn't just show up, she also told millions of people where he lives. And from a video like this, it'd be very easy to find out where he lives, especially if you know the area even slightly. Now, as we can see by the caption on here, it says, let's talk like adults, Jax Films, because apparently adults will just dox a person and post their private information online for millions of people to see. Doesn't really sound adult-like. Now, the crazy thing about this is that Jax Films was actually live streaming whilst it was all happening, so we actually got to see his live reaction to finding out that SSSniperWolf just showed up outside his family's house with his family inside and then started posting videos of his house for millions of people to see, when bear in mind, out of them millions of people, it would be very easy for one of them millions to be a bad person with bad intentions. Obviously, you're going to be incredibly worried about this. Yeah, so as you can see, he's kind of just hearing about this now. Still doesn't really know the extent of it.
That, like, yeah, that's
not good.
really sketchy.
What?
She's literally right outside your house.
Oh my god!
Can you even imagine being Jack in this, like, circumstance?
Fucking sue her.
You've got to think as well, when you just find this out, she could be with anyone. Who knows who she's with?
Call the cops and show them the Instagram story.
Hold on. I'm gonna go outside.
Aaron,
No,
Aaron,
don't.
Aaron, don't. Do not.
Don't, please don't. All right, hold on. I'm gonna end this
Yeah, so you get the point, right? This way he's found out that SSSniperWolf just rocked up outside his house and told millions of people where he lives. Can't imagine ever being in a situation like that. It's genuinely one of the biggest overreactions I've ever seen to being critiqued on a YouTube video. Like, it makes zero sense to me. And like I said before, she has every right to respond, obviously, right? If someone critiques you have every right to respond and say your piece. But that could be in, like, a public YouTube video and go in on him, say whatever you want, right? Get your points across. Or private message him and try and speak about it like adults, right? But the last thing you should do is show up to the guy's fucking house. Now, obviously, when SSniperWolf got a ridiculous amount of backlash for this, rightly so, she decided to try and defend herself in the most weird way possible by saying, accusing me of doxing is defamation. All of a sudden, SSniperWolf has taken the moral high ground after literally doxing him. I have no idea how to dox. Well, I mean, you did a good job at it for someone who doesn't know what it is. He literally posted his address on Google and said I threatened him and doxed him. Now, I don't really understand this bit saying he literally posted his address on Google. I assume that she just found it through public records because you can find most people's address through Google. But that doesn't mean you can show up to the bloke's house just because you know where he lives. Like, unless he actually went to Twitter and tweeted out his address word for word and then said, oh, by the way, anyone show up, especially you, SSniperWolf, come on over. You have no right. Unless he's done that, there's no reason why you should be showing up. Now, Jax Films ended up going to Twitter and saying his piece. As you can see here, he said, SSniperWolf just doxed me on her IG. Creepy, gross, violating. What you do is disgusting. You steal content and stalk YouTubers. YouTube, demonetize this dangerous creator or just get her off your platform. She posted an IG story right outside our home and deleted it, to which SSniperWolf responded on the same story saying, this creep has been harassing me for months, then plays victim and saying I threatened him when I just wanted to talk to him. I have no ill intentions. It's so sad when people have to constantly create drama to pay their bills. Now, I don't know if SSniperWolf genuinely believes this and she is just delusional or she's just like backpedaling at this point. I actually do think that's what she thinks. I genuinely believe that she thinks she's not doing wrong here and she just is delusional and she thinks this is completely normal behavior. But if you do want to talk, message the bloke. Say, can we talk? Could even be in person. You could say, look, let's meet up in person. If he agrees to it, fair enough. If he says come over and we'll talk, fair enough, go over. You don't just show up outside anyone's house uninvited under hardly any circumstances, and especially don't post it to millions of people on Instagram. Now, Jax Films actually posted a video on YouTube yesterday talking about this situation. It's just under 3 minutes, and it's just given kind of like a brief overview and how he feels.
Last night, SSniperWolf, a massive YouTuber, showed up outside of our home, recorded a video of our home, and then posted it to her 5.6 million Instagram followers, goading me with the line, let's talk like adults. In my 17 years on YouTube, I've never once had someone come to my home and vaguely threaten me. SSniperWolf needs to be deplatformed.
Now, I get what you're saying here, right? But I highly doubt anything's going to happen. She makes so much money for YouTube. YouTube clearly love her. They give her shout outs on Twitter all the time. They comment on her videos. I don't think anything's going to happen regardless of what people want to do about it, but maybe I'm wrong.
We're fine. We're just a little shaken up. But mainly, we feel violated. We no longer feel safe in our own home because we're dealing with someone who genuinely thinks they're in the right for A, stalking me, and B, posting our home to her massive audience.
I have no idea how she can't see how bad that is and how dangerous that is for millions of people to now know where Jack lives. And regardless if nothing comes of it, regardless if no one shows up, which I'd be very surprised if no one genuinely shows up to the house now, but even if they don't, you've now got his family on edge, feeling unsafe in their home because at any point, someone could show up. And let's be honest here, 34 million subscribers SSniperWolf has. There's bound to be someone who is willing to do something stupid. That might just genuinely be showing up at the house and knocking on the door. He's not going to do anything crazy. But even that is too much. Your home is meant to be your safe place where you have your privacy. No one should know where you live apart from your friends and family and anyone that you want to know of the address. And you've just removed that right to privacy from him because millions of people have now seen it.
If she truly wanted to talk with me, she could have done so through many other means. But there's one thing you don't do. You do not show up at someone's house.
Which is mental because that has been something that YouTubers have been talking about for God knows how many years. The moment YouTubers became like more well known, you know, like the first really big creators here on the platform, fans would kind of show up to their homes. And it became very clear straight away that YouTubers weren't happy with that. Like, that should be obvious to a lot of people, right? But I guess for the most part, these were kids showing up to people's homes, so the YouTubers had to make it very clear, like, look, don't show up to my home. If you see me in person, say hi, picture, all this stuff, but no one should be showing up to someone's home. That is your private place. That should be only a place that you are aware of and the people you want to be aware of it. But like I just said there, that was mainly kids who were showing up to people's houses, so they didn't really know any better. SSSniperWolf is a grown fucking woman, okay? She should know better, and apparently she still doesn't know. SSSniperWolf is apparently 30 years of age, according to Google. Are you telling me that a 30-year-old woman doesn't realise how creepy it is to just show up to someone's house uninvited and then post it to millions of people so now loads of people know where someone lives? Like, obviously she knows. But yeah, she thinks she's in the right still, which is mind-blowing.
I've been critical of her content, but that does not equate to harassment. What is harassment is coming to our home, sharing it for millions to see, and taunting me to come out.
I absolutely agree, and like I said, even if you have the stance that Jax Films maybe went too far in his videos and he posted too many of them, which I personally don't agree with, but even if you did have that stance, I would like to think that you still believe that going to the bloke's house and posting it online is way, way too far. And like I also said, she has every right to respond and not be happy with Jax Films' videos if she genuinely thinks that what he's saying isn't true. And she has every right to say whatever she wants, call him names for crying out loud. Like, post a video to your millions of followers and say like, oh, Jax Films wrong and this is why, and back yourself. But no, this is ridiculously too far.
Ban her from the platform ASAP. And the same goes for Instagram. Speaking of, SSSniperWolf is already making light of the situation.
I mean, look at that for a story. Just mocking it, saying, we show up to your house, what you're doing. She's so delusional. She genuinely thinks she's done nothing wrong here.
No one should feel unsafe in their own home. And thanks to SSSniperWolf, my wife and I now do.
So there, I mean, the message is pretty clear, right? He's asking YouTube to deplatform SSSniperWolf, essentially. And, I mean, I can get why he would be absolutely fuming about this, but do I think anything will happen? No, I do not. I would be very, very surprised if anything does happen. Maybe YouTube will speak out about it and say they don't agree with SSSniperWolf. Maybe take away her, like, premium ads or whatever they call it nowadays with, like, the crazy CPMs. Maybe something small like that, but I just don't really see them doing much at all. Like I said, she's too big on the platform. She makes too much money for YouTube to really do anything, and they don't really like getting involved in this type of stuff at the best of times, so I doubt they'll do anything, but I would love to know your opinions. Maybe by the time this video goes out, because my videos do go out the next day after I've recorded them, something more might have happened, but like I said, I'd be very surprised. But either way, I would love to know your thoughts down below in the comment section on everything that I spoke about in today's video, and if you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff, and yeah, until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.